like I said, is my topic is God is working it out. That got into my spirit. That was our topic for today's service also. So I'm just really piggybacking off of that, and just gonna say my little whatever. But thank you for coming in once again. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you had an amazing day, and that those moms made you guys feel just simply amazing. Okay. Don't don't be afraid and don't worry. The Lord knows your worries, and He's going to provide, you know, provide you with comfort. But but first of all, you got to come to Him in order to understand what God has in store for you, what purpose He has for you, to get to know Him, why things happen, why things don't happen. When you get a connection and make God your personal Savior, you'll understand so much as we walk through this thing called life. You will be surprised at the question you may have had in your mind when you were a non-believer compared to now that you're a believer, and God speak to your heart and to your mind and let you know reveal a whole lot of things to you. So when you come to Christ, you have a better understanding of his purpose for your life. And God is also, He's working right now on your behalf. Sometimes it seems like things are falling apart and actually it's not in place, things, sometimes you feel that things are blocking you, but God takes the messed up things in your life to work out things for you. As they say, He takes the things that baffles people in order to make it make sense. He takes the silly things and make it make sense. He takes those stumbling blocks that's been blocking you and you think you can't go over, and He'll use those stumbling blocks to think that you're going to fall, but He's right there to catch you. God hears your prayers. Remember, we serve a God that can do far beyond and what we can even think or ask for. We just have to leave it in His hands. Leave your worries and your cares in God's hands. It may hurt, but we have to realize that our anxieties, our fears, and our worries is only temporarily. But the Lord, His grace is everlasting. Everlasting. His grace is everlasting. So whatever problems and stuff we had, God got our back. God is moving in ways we don't even understand right now. We just have to be still, and allow Him to calm the storm in our hearts. So sometimes we get all over the place, and we tend to, as they say, put the horse in front of the carriage. So sometimes we have to get back on that carriage and let God be that horse to drive us where we need to go. And then we'll understand more the purpose that He's trying to show us and what He's trying to show us. Go to Him in prayer and stay there until your heart is focused on Him. That you can release all your cares to Him. Sometimes we just say things and we just pray a little bit here, a little bit there. But when you really fall down and you sincerely ask God to genuinely help you with whatever it is, we have to trust and believe that He hears it. We're going to leave it, and we're going to sit back and watch the manifestation of what God's going to do with our issues. This is a time to just trust and worship, because remember what the choir was singing, God is going to work it out. He's going to work it out. Remember what the choir was saying, God is going to work it out. If you're praying about it, God is going to work it out. God is making things happen for you, even when you don't see it. Even when you can't feel it, even when it's not evident, God is working on. He's working on our prayers. He's working on our prayers. God's plan is always best. Sometimes the process is painful and hard, but don't forget that when God is silent, He's doing something for you and for me. He's working. He's behind the scenes. He's working it out. And sometimes because he's behind the scenes, we think that he's not there. But that's not true. He's there. Just think about it. God changes. If God can change caterpillars into butterflies, sand into pearls, and coal into diamonds by using time and pressure, he's working on us too. He's working on us too. Because sometimes we have to go through those hard things or those ugly things and just come out beautiful. So on this journey called life, every experience, God, good or bad, is part of his divine plan and purpose for our lives. Remember, in our waiting, God is working God is not working on our time. He's working on his time. So his time is not our time. His hour is not our hour. We have to learn how to sit back, be patient, and wait. And that's the hardest thing to do when you're going through something, is to sit and wait. And I have issues with waiting, but God is teaching me to be silent and to be patient. I was reading Exodus 3, and I noticed that God hears the cries of his people. When he spoke to Moses through the burning bush, Moses was appointed, by God, to lead the Israelites out of Egypt and into Canaan. He had the weight and the cries of the people on his shoulders. So, like Moses, have you ever gone through something and wonder if God is listening? Did he hear your cry? God sees our affliction. He knows our pain. He hears our cries. And before we even get started to pray, God already got the answer. He already got the answer. He just want to hear from us. He already got the answer. While the Israelites was crying out for help, God was working through Moses. You might not see it, you might not understand it, but God is at work, and he's going to deliver not only you, but me too. Be still for just a moment so you can realize that help is on its way. Help is on the way. While we are currently working, God is already at work. While we're sitting there worrying about this and worrying about that, God is once again, he's behind the scenes. He's already at work. He's working on our behalf. It's his timing. It's his timing that's always perfect. It may not, as they say, he may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. Exodus 3:7 reads, the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and have given heed to their cry because of their taskmasters. For I am aware of their suffering. So I have come down to deliver them from the power of the Egyptians, and to bring them up from the land to a good and spacious land, to a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hittites and Jebusites. Now behold, the cry of the sons of Israel has come to me. Furthermore, I have seen the oppression with which the Egyptians are oppressing on them. So God is always looking. He's always watching. He's forever seeing. So just know, we may be oppressed, but he's not going to have us depressed. Isaiah 65:24 reads, before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I hear. And I love that. Once again, before they call, I will answer. While they are asking, I will hear. That's self-explanatory right there. Before we can go down in prayer, God always goes, he already knows what we're going to say. And while we're talking about our issues, he's been listening before we can even get out of our mouths. So he's therefore, what I say, he's working on it. He's working it out. He's working it out. When you're busy worrying It's hard to understand that God is at work. When you don't see even a small hint of improvement in sight, God sent encouraging messages to the Israelites, but because of their discouragement, they wouldn't listen. They thought to themselves, they probably thought to themselves pretty much like, we heard it all before, but we are still in these trials. That's why they was in the wilderness for a while, because they was hard-headed. The same thing happens today. There are so many verses in Scripture that tell us God is with us. But because of discouragement and not getting a solution when we want it, our faith gets a little shaky, and God is working even on our unbelief. Our faith gets a little shaky, but God is still working on our unbelief. The things that we think that sometimes, once in a while, we think that God can't even handle it. Because we don't see the results quick enough. But He can handle any and above all things. We have to boldly take hold of His promises, of the promises of God, and no matter what, stand firm on it. I'm going to say that again. We have to boldly take hold of God's promises, and no matter what, stand firm on them. Exodus 6:6-9. Therefore say to the Israelites, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. I will free you from being slaves to them, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with mighty acts of judgment. I will take you as my own people, and I will be your God. Then you will know that I am the Lord, who brought you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians, and I will bring you to the land I swore uplifted hands to Abraham, to Isaac and Jacob, those our forefathers. I will give it to you as a possession. I am the Lord. Moses reported this to the Israelites, but they didn't listen to him because of their discouragement and harsh labor, because they were so, if you read the story of Moses, how they had them building this and they was whipping them and all that type of stuff and being real hard on them. So when somebody's being hard on you and